Hi YouTube. Sorry about my voice. I'm a little sick and it's kind of morning right now, so I've got allergies too, so yeah, that doesn't help. Anyways, you guys have been sitting and doing your keyboard warrioring about my Gemini here, and I thought I would like to sit and talk about it since I just did have the vet out for him. Just so you know, all this grass eating he's doing is pretty much pointless. I had the vet out about a week ago or so, maybe less than that. And I was going to have his teeth done, and apparently he doesn't really have any teeth. So they're there, they're just worn down to the gums. There are a few sharp ones in there. It's just how he's eating. But other than that, I don't think we'll ever have his teeth floated again. So, and as you know, he's a skinny guy, but he's gaining a lot of weight. It's a long process. This is my main guy. I love him so much. And I know you guys seem to think that I'm starving him. And trust me, I'm not. This guy gets, without water, without the wet stuff, he gets about 10 pounds of food. And that's just grain, and mostly grain, yeah. He gets 10 pounds of grain, and then I give him alfalfa pellets, beet pulp pellets, rice bran oil, electrolytes, probiotics. He's on weight gainer right now. But after everything is all put in the bowl and said and done, it weighs probably close to 30 pounds. We just switched his diet from probably half of that, so about 15 pounds, to double just a few days ago. And within a few days, everything in his hind end and his back is starting to fill out. So all of this right here that's kind of, okay, that's a horsefly, sorry. All of this is like dented in right here, all of his back and the shelf, and right here has really filled in. This right here was all sunk in like about a month ago. So with the upping of the diet, he's gaining his weight back pretty quickly, which is nice. So I'd say he probably gained about 50 pounds in the last week or so. I mean, it's a big drastic change, but that's only because all of this grass eating that he does and any foraging that he does is pretty much pointless. The vet says that anything he's doing now is for entertainment purposes only. And since he just had his breakfast, I figured I might as well let him out here to chew on some good grass, because the pasture doesn't really have a lot right now. So, now on with my story. There's another story that goes along with this. So the other day I was at the Tractor Supply getting some food for these guys. And as I'm paying, I'm dragging everything off of all the carts and everything. There's like a ton of bags, and there's dog food and everything else that we had to go through. So we had a lot of bags on our cart. We weren't like weighing it down by any means. It wasn't that bad. But you could see the cart was buckling under weight from many uses of not just us, but people before us. So we're in line, we're pulling things off of the cart, and this lady comes up behind me. She's like, "Oh, you must be feeding a lot of horses with all that feed." And I was like, "Yeah," or a lot of animals. She said, "A lot of animals." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm feeding my 4 horses." And then she pauses and she goes,
I've been raising horses for many years, and never have I ever fed horses alfalfa this time of year.
"Well, I'm from the West Coast, lady. I'm sorry to tell you. And on the West Coast, we feed a lot more alfalfa." This guy, I tried explaining to her, my older horse has some dietary issues that aren't the same as any other horse. We need to make sure he gets a lot more calories. And before I could even finish what I was saying, this woman is sitting there mumbling under her breath like I am just a complete moron. And she keeps like talking about how we put too much stuff on the cart and
How it's, oh my gosh, it's buckling under pressure. Can you believe it? And oh, there's a nut on the ground. There's a nut that fell off of your wheels. Be careful.
And I looked at the nut that fell on the ground, and it was actually brand new. It looked like somebody accidentally dropped it, and it didn't go to the cart, even though it was probably about the same size as the nuts that were on the cart. I checked all the wheels, and none of them were broken. But somebody accidentally dropped one of those when they were walking through and buying stuff. So, as we're packing stuff on the cart, the lady mumbles,
Oh, good luck getting out to your car with all that stuff.
and the girl behind the counter that was helping us was like, I think they can handle it. Literally said that. So I was like, okay, thank you, lady behind the counter. And as we're walking out, my roommate's like, wow, what a, and I was like, see, this is why I don't like the horse world. Like, people who don't understand, like you guys don't know what is going on in my everyday life. You have no idea what it's taken to get this horse, this particular horse, this cow-hipped horse, to this point in his life. It is so hard. I love him more than anything, more than words could ever express. This is my main horse. This is my main guy. I love him like he is a human being, and I just can't love him any more than I do. And it kills me. It kills me to see him looking like this. But then there are judgmental people out there, like the people who sit on YouTube and talk about things and say things behind your back and sit there and talk to your face and saying that you don't know what you're doing and that horse is skinny, feed him more food. But trust me, people, if I fed him any more, he would probably fall to the ground and die. He would be so stuffed. I'm already at my limit to how much I can feed him, and there's not much else I can do. He is wormed, he is fed, he has got his shots, he has had his teeth checked, he has everything he needs. I guarantee it. I love him. I care for him. I make sure he has it, because more than anything in this world, I do not want to lose him. I'm going through a lot of stuff in my life, and I've been through a lot of stuff in my life, but this horse means more to me than words. And to have people sitting behind the keyboard, sitting there saying, you know what's going on, and I need to do this, and you guys acting like you guys are so knowledgeable about one particular horse, one horse. You guys have no clue. You guys don't even know. You have no clue what it takes for just one horse, let alone the other three. I've got 3 other horses, and I'm only having issue with the one horse. You guys got to keep in mind that obviously it cannot always have something to do with the owner itself. It has to have something to do with the horse in the end. You cut all the variables. You make sure you get everything taken care of. You go and you check everything. You check everything on this horse, and if you can't figure it out, that's when you have to sit there and think to yourself, does it really have anything to do with what I'm doing, or is there something else going on? Now, Gemini is about 23 to 24 years old. Granted, he's an older guy, but he's not the oldest guy you can find. I know that there are other issues and that horses usually get older, and some horses are younger when these things happen, but these things do happen. And if I could just give him a miracle inoculation and make him just perfectly fine, trust me, I would. But this is my boy, and for people to come on the keyboard and sit here and assume you know what's going on, you guys are just bizarre. It's just bizarre to sit here and say you guys know what's going on when you really don't. Maybe you guys should take the time to ask me what's going on, and not saying, oh, you just don't feed him enough, because it's obvious that I do. I feed him so much, and I can sit here and I can make video after video after video showing what I feed my horse. But I don't think in the end that it would matter, because everyone has got an opinion and everyone thinks that they know better than someone else. Now, I've been doing this for 27 or 28 years. I can't think right now off the bat, but I've been around horses for long enough, and when I say that I'm stumped by a horse, I'm pretty stumped. I've gone through and I've talked to many people who know what they're doing with horses. My mom has been through every step of the way in the horse journey with me, and she was a lot older than me because she's my mother. So she was able to gain more experience out of everything that I went through, because at 4 years old, you're not learning a whole lot. Let's be honest here. But my mother, she's even trying to figure things out with me. And now I've got a vet sitting here on my side, and this is where the story comes in with what I'm trying to say right now. There's a lady at the feed store trying to tell me that I was wrong in what I was doing and that I shouldn't be feeding my horse this. And for 1 second, I doubted myself. And I questioned whether or not I should be feeding him what I was feeding him. And then I called the vet out here, and she was here 2 days after that. And the vet basically said, don't listen to that lady. That lady is weird. I don't know why she was even talking to you. You are perfectly fine feeding Gemini. This is Gemini. You're perfectly fine feeding him alfalfa. Feed him a bunch of grain, a bunch of alfalfa. She gave me exact measurements. I'm not going to get into it right now because it's just it's a lot to take in. I feed him a lot of food, guys. I feed him what he needs, and he's getting everything. He's getting everything he needs, and I don't think I could do any better than what I've been doing now. He's gaining weight, and I can show you a picture. I will actually insert a clip of what he looked like in April, and I'm gonna. You guys need to brace yourself. It's pretty. He's pretty intense. It's pretty intense, an intense transformation that he's gone through. So, I mean, this is what he looks like. He looked like in April. And now this is what he looks like now. I know that a lot of you guys have a lot of opinions about how big a horse should be and about how skinny a horse should be or how fat or athletic or whatever. But it doesn't always work that way. Just like a human being, horses have things that have, you know, there's skinny human beings, and then there's morbidly obese ones. It's not as easy. It's not that easy to gain a lot of weight when you don't have the metabolism to gain it. Your metabolism, I mean, it's part of your nervous system. I mean, it's just that. It's nervous. My stomach gets nervous. I know that. I stop eating for a few days when I'm upset. I stop drinking. I stop feeling like I have any will to do a lot of things. Whereas with Gemini, I don't know what the underlying issue is, other than the fact that he really doesn't have that much teeth left over because they're worn down. And that he doesn't gain a lot of nutritional value from eating grass like a normal horse does. So, with that being said, all I ask of you guys is, before you start going around judging my horses and my animals and saying that I'm doing something wrong, don't. Just message me, talk to me as a human being would. Don't assume that I'm just this don't act like I'm some made up character. Just because I'm on YouTube, you don't see my face. Don't sit here and act like I don't have feelings, because in reality, everyone does. And not everyone handles criticism or trolls like other people do. I don't deal well with trolls, so I'm explaining to you guys. Rather than being a jerk and sitting behind a screen and pretending like I don't know who you are, even though I could see your profile or whatever, I could look up your name. I mean, come on. Just because you don't think I don't know who you are, doesn't mean that your words don't always affect people. I know I sound like a moron when I'm talking like this right now, but I've mentioned it before. I have PTSD, and a lot of these things bother me. So, that being said, Gemini's feeling a lot better. He looks a lot better. I've seen him running a lot more. He's enjoying life. He loves being out. He loves people. And that's all that matters to me. If I never get to ride him again, all I know is that I've had that chance, and I'm more than happy just letting him be. He's such a good boy, you know? I'm about to cry. But you guys just don't think that I don't care just because he looks like this, because I really, really do, and it hurts me. So, with that being said, I hope you guys got what you needed out of this, and that was a giant horsefly on Jem's butt, I know. But anyways, I'm going to get the fly spray from over there. You can see it hanging right there. And I am going to